1, I should not be driving. 2, I don't know where my car is.
Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones.
Week 2 of Christmas beers. Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
I'm Dolan.
Beers this week, courtesy of our friends in Colorado. Well, not courtesy of our friends. I bought it at the local Hy-Vee.
Yeah.
But made in Colorado from Breckenridge Brewery. Fine Colorado ales. It says it around me. It looks like a radio station logo almost.
It does kind of have that lightning bolt feel to it.
Yeah. Christmas ale. Just their Christmas ale.
Yeah.
This is just called Christmas ale.
Standard old school one.
Yeah. In a big keg. Well, big for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can...
It reminds me of when I used to work concession stand, like at high school basketball games for like fundraising for band.
Oh, okay.
And the nacho cheese would come in something like that.
Oh,
Yum.
Yeah.
Did it have a keg topper? You can
Yep. You just
tap it?
you break the seal on the bottom and it connects to the machine and then it dispenses nacho cheese.
Did you ever wheeze the juice?
Wheeze the juice.
He doesn't know what that is.
No.
I think
Is
we
it-
had this conversation
Yeah,
before.
We had a beer.
Encino Man?
Yeah.
No.
Wheeze the juice? Where they stick their mouth under like a
Underneath.
Slurpee machine?
Oh, okay. So I've done that,
Not
Come
with the nacho cheese, though.
but not nacho cheese.
Wheeze the nacho cheese?
Could burn your face.
It could.
Wheeze the cheese.
Wheeze the cheese.
I feel like that might be a whole different thing.
Dolan, your homework
Oh.
assignment is to go watch
Wheeze the cheese.
Encino Man.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell him to go to
Or do that too.
Wheeze the Cheese.
Or if we drink enough of this, then you can wheeze the
Christmas
ale
Yeah.
right out of the little mini keg here. So 1.32 gallons in this keg. So there's 8 pints in a
8
gallon.
pints. It's 7.1%.
Woo.
22 IBUs.
It is malty darkness.
Yep.
Now, not dark like dark beer, like stout beer.
No.
But malty like it reminds me of a Sam Adams,
Yeah.
like a lager.
Lager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's give it a go.
All right.
Smells good. Mm-hmm. Smells Swedish.
Oh, it is sweet. There is some bitterness to it.
I like it.
That's
Okay.
good.
It's good.
I can see why this is a Christmas beer.
Yeah, but it's not spiced. Christmas
No.
spice.
No.
Nothing like that.
I feel like it's a Christmas beer you can open up at the family gathering, and I don't think anybody would complain.
No. It'd
Yeah.
be different than some people have ever had,
Yeah.
probably. But
It's like biscuity, bready, malty, a little bit of sweetness.
I like the maltiness.
Yeah, it's good.
Interesting.
It's allegedly caramel or caramel, which is from the malts.
Where do you fall into the caramel?
Depending.
Okay.
If I want to be fancy, it's caramel.
Okay.
Otherwise, just,
It's
those
caramel.
cheap caramels that stick to your teeth, that's a caramel.
Or that pull your fillings out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dolan, where do you fall on this? Caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
Yeah, he's a
Always
caramel
caramel.
guy. He doesn't have time for caramel.
No.
Also, allegedly, some chocolate flavor to this, maybe. Maybe in the roasted.
Maybe through the roastiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, but on the back of that keg, it says, for best pour, please consume within 24 to 48 hours. So we're in for the long haul here.
We got some drinking to do then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I actually have a lot of Colorado research here.
Good.
So I don't think we've ever really dug into Colorado breweries as deep as kind of I went this time.
Okay.
So
That sounds good.
What do you want to do? You want to do yours first?
Let me get just a little bit of beer information out, and
Okay.
then we'll go to Colorado.
Right on.
So this has been brewed since 1993. So this is one of our oldest.
The Christmas ale.
Yeah.
Really?
This is one of our older, craft beers. I mean, really.
Okay.
We're 30 years almost at that point. That's pretty old for most places. So they've been making this since then.
Okay.
Mount Hood and Chinook hops are what are used.
Okay.
Now, you won't ever see Mount Hood hops in like a hazy IPA or anything, so this is an old school hop variety.
Like you said, maybe a little more West Coast-ish.
I mean, that was the coast back when this was made, you know? So,
Yeah.
another beer that it's similar to is Deschutes Holidale. You'll see that. Comes out, similar style. This is technically a classic strong ale, so we're over that 6% kind of boundary. This one's 7.1. There's no spices or added flavors to this beer at all. It's just hops and malts and all that good stuff.
Okay.
They do have, from what I could tell, a barrel-aged version of this that only sells at the brewery, potentially. Some of the information I saw kind of counteracted that, but it looked like that one was 10%.
Whoa.
And it's just the same beer, but in a whiskey barrel. So you get some oak and booziness, some sweetness, and it pumps up the ABV to 10.7.
I thought that would be nice.
And it's like a little bit more red in color from the pictures that I saw. But I've never seen that beer in my life. And I would like to, because I love barrel-aged stuff. So,
okay.
I mean, 10%, can't go wrong.
I don't think I've ever seen, in the stores or anything, I don't think I've ever seen it. But I don't know. We've never, as much as we've been to Colorado, I've never been to Breckenridge. So
The brewery or the town?
Both.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've been to the town.
Yeah, I've driven through. It's really close to where my family is. It's actually not too far from Fairplay, that South Park beer we had a little while ago. Yeah.
Oh, Lime Bandito. I remember that.
Yeah. All right, that's what I got for just our little bit of history on this beer specifically.
Okay, so it's gonna get muddy for a little bit here because Breckenridge is, well, we'll get into it. How about this? So, founded in 1990 by Richard Squire.
Yeah.
Now, in the mountain town of Breckenridge, Colorado, it was the third oldest craft brewery in the state.
Okay.
I didn't look up the other two, the first two. I don't know who that would be. 1992, they opened their second brew pub in downtown Denver. As luck would have it, and actually they attribute this to luck. I don't know if there's a whole lot of luck here. In 95, so 3 years later, the Rockies built a stadium right across the street. So
yeah, pre-game drinks, I suppose.
I've been to that location.
Oh, okay.
There's also there's an Irish pub that I really like over there too, which is directly, if you walk directly out of the left field exit entrance there of Coors Field, there's a walkway directly to that Irish pub.
Oh,
almost like it was meant to be.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Oh, it's awesome. They outgrew that in '96. They moved to 471 Klamath Street, several miles away. So I guess being that close to the Rockies wasn't, to the Colorado Rockies baseball team.
Yeah,
wasn't necessarily.
They didn't need that.
I guess. I guess not.
Yeah.
So they moved several miles away to this larger location, and they've been there for 19 years now. 60,000 barrels a year as of this research. This would have been like 2015. So 5 years ago was the last time I saw any kind of how much they're producing. They ran out of space. They went looking again, and they found a spot in Littleton, Colorado. So way south, way south, 9 miles south of Denver proper. Now, in summer of 2015, they moved to that 12-acre stretch of land and have been there ever since.
Wow!
So that is their new production home. Their 12 acres of land out of that location right there.
You know, a place has been around a while when they've moved like 3 times. You know, had to upgrade facilities.
Could you imagine having to move all that brewing equipment?
Oh, it'd be a pain.
No, I mean it's hard enough to move your house.
Yeah,
now you're moving
that.
I don't want. Yeah. Breckenridge Brewery ranked 50th on the Brewers Association 2014 list of largest craft breweries and 47th on the 2015 list. Again, that's the best research I could come up with there. Early on, Breckenridge produced roughly 1,000 barrels per year. By 2015, they were over 70,000 barrels. So went from 60 to 70. Then 2016, they were purchased by Budweiser.
Really?
Yep. That's where it gets muddy.
That's probably why we have this big kegs now.
Yep. So I get it. So it's actually Anheuser-Busch has a family of craft beers, breweries that they have bought. They call it the high end. I don't know if that's like the name that they use externally too, but that's what at least this publication called it. So this group of breweries like includes like Goose Island and some of those. It's called the high end. They have distribution in 35 states now because of it. I mean, I can't fault them.
No, I mean if you're a person that owns a brewery, right, or a brewer of any kind, and one of your goals is to have as many people try your stuff as possible, then that's a way to do it for sure.
Here's the thing, like you wouldn't know by looking at it.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't say Anheuser-Busch on here anywhere.
Nope.
It doesn't reek of Budweiser.
Nope.
It doesn't have any. It still says Breckenridge Brewery, fine Colorado ales.
Yep.
Is it still craft?
That's I don't know. That's
I
a
feel
good
like
question.
that's a huge debate, and everybody has their own opinion on it.
Yeah.
It is. It's like a big internet brew, haha.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Haha.
what's better, Samsung or Apple? Samsung.
Well,
but,
clearly
you know,
Apple, but
We agree to disagree.
Right.
This is kind of fun. This goes back to my nerd roots. Okay, and this has been the first year I would have missed it, or that they missed it. Every year since the inaugural 2012 Denver Comic Con, Breckenridge Brewery has collaborated with the convention to brew and sell a limited edition beer with a comic-themed name chosen through an annual contest.
That sounds fun.
I couldn't find any of the names, though.
Oh, bummer.
No!
Huh. Maybe on Untapped. Maybe there's a good spot. Because that sounds like the kind of folks that would check into a beer, I would guess.
That's, yeah. You need a refill here? Do you need?
Yeah, I mean, if we got a gallon of it to go.
Right, here we go.
Yeah,
hang on.
I guess I do.
I'm gonna get one too. Yeah,
It's interesting when you don't do the talking, you can do a lot of the drinking. Vice versa, you know.
Oh, you're getting a rich pour.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's like 3/4 foam,
Oh, my
1/4
gosh.
beer. Just
well, by the time I'm done, I can
just
drink
let it settle down.
Yeah.
Just let it settle down.
Rich, you want to get me one too?
Yes. Do you want me to get you one?
Please.
Okay.
Do it better than this one. Oh boy.
Tilt the glass.
Oh, that's why right there we didn't do the
no air.
Oh yeah, much better. Much better.
Hey, well, it'll settle out, right? Once we get all
it
this
will eventually.
cool information.
All right. What else you got? Anything? Still got more color? Oh, that's a beautiful pour.
I've got some Colorado brewery information.
All right, let's do it.
You want to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
So as much as I look, this is our 11th Colorado beer.
Wow.
We've done a few.
Yeah.
Right? We've done more than a few. We should. Colorado has the 4th most breweries per capita in the United States, which is impressive.
Yeah.
Because they only have 2% of the country's population. 2%.
Really?
4th most.
Wow.
There you go.
How new is that information?
This is from the Colorado Craft Brewers Association
probably
website. So I
pretty
would say
active,
it's fairly accurate.
What do you think other states would be? California,
Yeah.
Well,
Michigan,
Maybe.
with most breweries?
Pennsylvania? Maybe.
Could be.
That'd be a good question. I don't know.
Texas.
Texas probably.
Yeah, Texas.
I'm just trying to think of all the places we've had a lot of beers from.
Yeah, this
Missouri.
Missouri.
Now we've done a lot of Missouri beers, that's for sure. That's only because our friend Aaron Biddle likes beers too, and so he sends us beers.
And they have a lot of distribution. We get most of the stuff.
True. Yeah, so this came from coloradobeer.org, the Colorado Brewers Guide. 1859, Denver, the first brewery in the territory, is established. So it's not even a state yet, and they already have a brewery.
Well, you have to. Yeah.
The Rocky Mountain Brewing Company.
Good name.
Yeah, why not? Well,
Still
when you're the
exists?
first one, you can name whatever the hell you want.
I wish it still existed.
Every name is available to you.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part. 1875. So we went from 1859
Okay.
to 1875, there are 56 breweries operating in the territory, still not a state. 56. So within less than, what? My math is terrible.
Yeah.
Yes, 75 minus 59 equals a few years.
Wow.
16.
1912, Prohibition.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that was a bummer.
Yep. 1934, Prohibition ends.
20 years. 22?
Long time. Too long.
Yeah.
Way too long.
Wow.
Okay, so we skip ahead. Way ahead.
Okay.
1982.
Yeah, you did skip ahead. Yeah.
Long ways. Well, Prohibition, everybody gets drunk.
Yeah.
You wake
Can't
up
remember that.
and it's
2
82.
decades anyway.
The first Great American Beer Festival happens.
In 80 what?
82.
Wow.
1982.
That's in Denver, right?
That is in Denver. And now I believe it is the largest beer competition outside of the World Beer Championships. Is that Munich? Is that in Germany?
I think so. I've always wanted to go to Great American Beer Festival. Mm-hmm. And I had a chance once,
I had a chance once.
and I didn't go. And that's probably a good thing,
Yeah.
because I can barely keep my shit together on a normal beer festival. Great American Beer Festival, it would be bad news.
So this was 3-ish years ago. We were going through a couple transitions here at Atlas, and Scott Strain calls me and says, "Hey, we're leaving tomorrow, and we ended up getting an extra ticket. Do you want to go?"
Yeah, and you said, yeah, I do,
I said, "Yeah, I do," but there was too much going on here.
but I can't.
I can't. My main job stopped me from going. So I will always regret that decision.
Yeah.
I should have said, "Yes, Scott, come pick me up. Let's go." Because going to the Great American Beer Festival with 2 brewers
Yeah.
would have been off
You
the charts.
get to go to all the pre-events and all that stuff, probably.
I did. So there was. Here's probably what would have happened. Honestly, there was Benson Beer Festival, which is a fairly decent sized little
Yeah.
beer festival here for Omaha. First year, I worked the cross strain booth. I just volunteered. Here, I'll pour beers for you and whatever, and just go hang out. Jenny and Maddox were out of town, and so I went and helped out. Well, then Scott shows up later, and we go walking, and Scott knows everybody who's anybody in Nebraska brewing.
Yeah.
Okay. If you brew beer in Nebraska, Scott, you know Scott, and he knows you, and he's friends with you. So we didn't go the normal way through the crowd.
Sure.
We went behind the booths.
Oh, yeah.
And Scott he's just like, "Hey," and he'd wave, and then he'd go to their tap, and he would just pour whatever he wanted. And they'd be like, "Yay, Scott, whatever," and I would just pour whatever I wanted.
Yep.
I had to call, so I'm down in Benson. I had to call Lane Andreessen, our IT director, because I didn't know how to get to my car
Yeah.
at the end of the night. I told Scott, I'm like, "I got to go. This is it. I can't do this with you.
Yeah.
I can't. This is like next level.
Yep.
I can't do this with you. 1, I should not be driving. 2, I don't know where my car is, but I know I'm in Benson, and I know that I can call Lane. I know I can call Lane, and so bless his heart, Lane and Karen were eating at a restaurant like 3 blocks away.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, look up. What street do you see?" So I told him. He's like, "Okay, walk north." I'm like,
You're like, I don't know what
seriously,
that means.
walk north. He's like, "Okay, walk towards the taco place." So I see the taco place, start
You're
walking.
like, okay, I can understand tacos.
Yeah. They sat with
There
me
you go.
for 2.5 hours and sobered me up.
Oh,
It
good
was-
friends.
I know.
Very good friends.
Yeah. So I guess maybe that was a lesson that I shouldn't have gone to the Great American Beer
Yeah.
Festival, because I'd probably still be in Denver at this point.
Could be. Wow.
Dude, where's my car?
1988, Colorado gets its first 2 brew pubs,
Okay.
which seems odd to me, and that's why I wrote it down.
Yeah.
So brewing their own beer, serving their own food.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 of them, the Wine Coop Brewing.
Oh, yeah, Wincoop.
Wincoop?
That's the one that makes the Bull Testicle Stout, Rocky Mountain Oyster Stout.
Get out of here.
No, they do.
So, ironically, Wincoop was purchased by Breckenridge Brewing Company at one point.
Okay.
So, and then Anheuser-Busch bought. So, now they're all part of that same.
Do they still do that Rocky Mountain?
Yeah. As far as I know.
Is it seasonal?
Yeah.
Oh,
Gross.
I mean, you've heard of, like on the East Coast, they have oyster stouts sometimes.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
a thing. So this is their take on that. It's Rocky Mountain Oyster Stout.
well, oyster stouts, Rocky Mountain
They're
oyster
both
stouts.
gross, I think, so why not?
Send them in, please.
I guess we'll drink anything. So,
Bull Testicle Stout.
I actually don't mind them. They're all right.
There's a place here that has a Testicle Festival every year, and they fry them and whatever else, and they go out there and you just eat them.
Nope, no thanks.
I don't know about that.
They're not too bad. I got tricked into eating them when I was like 10.
Well,
And ever since then,
You don't have to trick you no more.
nope.
We went to, there's that place out in western Nebraska. Maybe it's in Paxton. Oldies or whatever. Big game place. And they're known for having them there. So we went, and this was after we went golfing, and consumed a couple of beers. And my father-in-law was gracious enough to be our designated driver that day. So we're having a good time, and my friend Daryl was with me. He orders them. And they didn't cook them all the way. They weren't totally done.
No.
So they were real chewy. And ever since that, I'm just like, nope, I don't even want to see them,
Oh, no.
smell them, none of that stuff.
Douche.
So no, chewy testicles, no thanks. No thanks.
It's like gizzards though, or you
Yeah,
know,
I don't
like
need
it
that
needs
either.
it needs to be done right.
I
'Cause
do,
I love gizzards,
I do enjoy the gizzards.
but I've had places where I get a gizzard and it's either chewy or it tastes really weird.
Could have just been a rubber band that fell in.
Yeah,
You don't know.
Could have been.
You want to go off on a tangent here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. So I listened to a podcast. This has nothing to do with Colorado beers or anything. I listened to a podcast called This American Life.
Yeah, that's a famous one.
Chicago Public Radio.
Yeah.
Ira Glass. I am obsessive with Ira Glass.
Yeah.
If I like the podcast and he does the interview, I'll listen to it in the car. Then I will go home and I will listen to it in my office with headphones on, and I will write out his questions because I want to learn how to be as good at asking questions as he is.
Yeah.
So almost like when you're a writer and you're trying to learn how to like write sitcoms and stuff, like one of the things they suggest you do is go watch old sitcoms, watch Friends and Seinfeld and Mad About You, or whatever, and then write the dialogue as they're saying it. Practice writing their dialogue and so it gets you into the habit of writing like they talk.
Okay.
Anyway, one of the most recent episodes they did for their 25th anniversary was there was a guy that worked at a pork plant, and he saw a box on the floor that said artificial calamari. And yes. And he asked the guy, he's like, hey, what's artificial calamari? And he was like, oh, that's the box that we put of the pork bung in. So the pork anus, they put it in. It's pork. It actually is called bung, which is kind of funny.
It's a beer term, too, by the way.
Bung?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Bung?
That's the wooden cork you'll see on a beer barrel.
Oh.
I've heard of this.
Bung.
Uh-huh.
Oh. It's also a Beavis and Butthead term, which made me laugh.
Oh, sure.
Just bung.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's actually called pork bung. So he went on this this writer, podcaster, went on a multiple year journey trying to figure out, do they actually use pork anus as calamari? To the point where his sister, who is a Michelin chef, they went and bought some.
Yeah.
And they bought some calamari at the same time. They fried it the exact same way, gave it, and people knew what they were going to eat. They ate it, and they could not tell the difference. So the next time you eat calamari,
Might be
could be pork
the
bung.
old O-ring from pork.
Wow,
Yep.
Wow.
man.
Fascinating.
I mean, I love calamari. I'd still put lemon on it and go.
The guy, so when they're eating it, they're in this restaurant, and the guy, he's like, same thing. He goes, I love calamari. He's eating the bung. He doesn't know it. He's eating the pork bung. He's like, this is the best calamari I've ever had.
Wow.
Absolutely. True
Hands
story.
down.
Well,
best.
I guess regardless, I think for this Christmas I'm sticking to prime rib or something alike.
There you go. Skip the calamari.
Yeah.
All right, finally, Colorado in 2006 set a record with 108 breweries operating across the state. And then 2015, there were 300 licensed breweries in Colorado. So from 06 to 15, I can do that math, 11 years.
That's a lot.
They went up from 108 to 300. And now it's well over that. They didn't have an updated number, but holy cow, there's a lot of beers.
I don't know
Or
what we
brewers.
have in Nebraska, but we've got to have over 50.
Well, we're getting close. We're
I
going
would
to cover
guess.
that in the Drown Out 2020. We've got a Nebraska beer that we've
Oh,
never
okay.
done
Cool.
that I did a little research on.
I know there's 50 some breweries in, where did we go from North Carolina? Raleigh, Durham.
Raleigh, Durham.
Charlotte.
Oh,
Charlotte.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I went to
Yeah.
like 7 in Charlotte in 2 days.
Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. We had that Halloween beer last year from there with the zombie on it. Can't remember what it was called, but it was really good. And yeah, they've got 50-some breweries in just that city.
So that is my trip down memory lane with
right.
Colorado beers. Colorado breweries.
Well, let's get our Christmas on now.
All right.
This is Christmas episode. And I was trying to think about things, that we haven't covered before.
Yep.
Stuff that, I don't know, was at least interesting. And right on that thing says since 1993.
Yeah.
And I was looking for some sort of Christmas connection to 1993, and I found it.
Wow.
And I found it in a little movie called The Nightmare Before Christmas. Came out in 1993.
Love this film.
So we're going to do a little deep dive on that.
Okay.
Nominated for an Oscar for Best Special Effects. Now, if you watch it now, it's not, it ain't CGI. It's claymation,
Right.
So it took a long time to do, but it was up for an Oscar. Directed by Charles Henry Selick. Not directed by Tim Burton.
I thought it was Tim Burton.
He helped. He's a producer, and he wrote the story and all that stuff.
Oh.
Directed by this guy, who also directed movies called Monkey Bone
No.
with Brendan Fraser. Never saw that one?
No, never saw it.
Coraline,
I did
Yeah.
see that.
James and the Giant Peach.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he also helped on Life Aquatic.
Oh, yeah. That was
so that's his pedigree.
Coraline.
Yeah.
Your dog's name.
Yes.
Right. So my youngest daughter, Scarlett, we took her to see that at the Dollar Theater. That was a horrible mistake.
That's a bad dollar spent.
That was a horrible.
Nightmares.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So I'm divorced from
Sure.
Riley and Scarlett from my first marriage. Sarah and I always had even to this day, have a very good, amicable relationship. Right. The only time she was like really mad at me while we were divorced was when I brought Scarlett home after watching Coraline. And unbeknownst to me, she was just hammering Mr. Pibbs.
Oh.
So not only was she just super hopped up
Yeah.
on caffeine, she was having nightmares about Coraline.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah was pissed.
Yeah, I can
Just
see
mad
that.
at me.
Yeah.
So mad at me.
There's a thing online they're trying to push a live action Coraline. And
Whoa.
as much as I don't like scary movies, I think it would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would too. That's one that I have not shown my kid yet. He hasn't seen it. which
He's
is
too
okay.
young.
Yeah,
Quite
I agree.
honestly, I'm trying to think about how Scarlett.
I was too young
Oh,
for Coraline,
wow.
and I was 36.
I think you need to wait a few years on that one.
So this guy, Charles Henry, before he was directing stuff, he was an animator at Disney, and that's how he met Tim Burton.
Oh.
He was working on a movie that I saw in the theater. Probably you did too.
Okay.
Called The Fox and the Hound.
I love Todd and Copper.
That's right.
I'm a hound dog.
One of Corey Feldman's first gigs.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he worked on a couple of these other things called Mickey's Christmas Carol, which we've talked about.
That was like last week, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then a movie called Return to Oz.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great Mouse Detective, one of my favorites as a kid.
Uh-huh.
And then Brave Little Toaster.
Yes.
Oh,
I love Brave Little
that
Toaster.
was my jam
There
growing
it is.
up.
Yeah.
His jam. And then something called Roger Rabbit. Oh. So,
Jessica Rabbit.
meow.
Is this R-rated? Are we an R-rated? Do we get the E beside of our podcast?
I think so, yeah.
Because we could go
Explicit,
into
yeah.
just how Jessica Rabbit was. Hello.
So, in 1982, this is when Tim Burton has been working on Frankenweenie for Disney.
Yes.
The short movie, the black and white one with Daniel Stern is in it and that sort of stuff.
Oh, it's great.
That's when he meets this guy, right? So in that time, Tim Burton writes this poem, and that's basically what the story of this movie is based on, right? So he writes this poem.
Jack Skellington stealing Christmas.
Yeah.
And okay.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
And then it didn't start as a production for them until 1991. So he kind of pitches the idea a few different times, and they finally say yes. 9 years later. Takes 2 years to make the movie. Comes out in 93. He meets one of the stars of the movie on a movie that he's also working on, which was Beetlejuice.
Yes.
And that's how we get Catherine O'Hara, who plays Sally in the movie. Then there's a couple of other guys in the movie that he'd worked with before. One named Paul Rubens.
Oh, Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee. He did
Yeah.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure. That was Tim Burton's first actual movie they directed.
Wait. Tim Burton directed Pee Wee's
Yeah.
Big Adventure.
Yeah, that was his thing to like make money to get the other movies made that he wanted, like this one.
I do not believe you.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. Alexa, who directed Pee Wee's Big Adventure? Let's see.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure was directed by Tim Burton.
Gosh, you
Wow.
should never question me when
I
Alexa's
should
in the
never question you.
room. Then they start working on that stuff, and he meets up with the music guy from Beetlejuice, Danny Elfman, right? And they've kind of worked on everything together ever since. So he's
Yeah.
like the conductor and the arranger, and
Those two are virtually inseparable.
pretty much every movie they're
Yes.
together, right?
Yep.
So there is, I don't remember what the actor's name. I think I might have wrote it down. Yes, Chris Sarandon. I think that's Susan Sarandon's brother.
Okay.
He's the voice of Jack Skellington
Oh,
when
I
he's
didn't know that.
talking,
Yeah.
but he's not the voice of Jack when he's singing.
Really?
Huh.
No, that's Danny Elfman.
No.
Yes,
For real.
He's the singer
Well,
of Jack. He
Danny
wrote the
Elfman
songs.
was Oingo Boingo. So,
Yes.
right? So there you
Yes.
go.
So they have all that sort of stuff. Chris Sarandon, the voice of Jack, the speaking Jack, was also Prince Humperdinck in Princess Bride. So if you've seen that movie, then you know who this guy is.
Humperdinck.
Yeah. Let's see. Originally, A Nightmare Before Christmas was supposed to be a TV show. And that was what they had been working on. And it was supposed to have been narrated and voiced by Vincent Price,
Oh.
who Tim Burton loved.
Yeah.
And I think eventually did work with. He wanted to make a short movie kind of like Frankenweenie. Mm-hmm. And then they couldn't agree on that, so he left and he shot Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and then he went and did Batman, and then came back. He was supposed to work on Batman Returns,
Yep.
right? So he couldn't direct this movie. And that's why he didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas, because he's working on Batman Returns and Ed Wood at the same time, which he, I think, won an Oscar for.
Ed Wood was really good for what it was.
Yeah.
Batman Returns could have been better. Obviously, Batman was probably you could make an argument that Tim Burton's Batman was the best Batman out of all of them, even though the Chris Nolan stuff is really, really good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Kind of sets the foundation for that.
Yeah.
But, Patrick Stewart does the prologue narration for this and for the soundtrack.
Captain Picard.
Yes. So he's involved. And then Danny Elfman, in an interview I was reading, said that writing it was very easy once he got into the mindset of being Jack Skellington. Like the whole thing just kind of fell out, and it was one of the easiest jobs he's ever had to do, was writing the music and the songs for this movie.
Okay.
So the soundtrack comes out in 1993 as well. In 2006, 13 years later, for some reason, they re-released the movie. They re-released it in 3D. Because remember that time when they were like 3D and everything?
Yeah.
And that wasn't great. So they re-released the soundtrack too, and they put all these new bands on the soundtrack. And I'm guessing you've heard some of these.
Let's hear him.
Well, Fall Out Boy is on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
She Wants Revenge. I remember them for a minute. Marilyn Manson does This Is Halloween.
Never heard of him.
And Fiona Apple's on it as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I've heard the Marilyn Manson This Is Halloween. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
not bad. And then 2 years after that, they re-release it again,
Okay.
and they redo the soundtrack again. And now the songs are done by Korn, Amy Lee from Evanescence,
Yes.
Plain White Tees, All American
Yeah.
Rejects.
Wow.
So there's a lot of different versions of those songs floating around on Spotify.
What is Korn? What did they
I think they did the Halloween.
This Is
Yeah,
Halloween?
Pretty
Interesting.
sure.
Sounds like something Korn would do.
Yeah, especially probably back in '93, it probably sounded like something off that first Adidas album.
He
or
break
whatever.
out in his language or
Yep.
whatever. Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee that's going on.
That's my best.
just
Jonathan Davis? Jonathan Davis?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
impression.
right.
Yep. His solo album sounds just like Korn too.
He has a version of Got Money
Yeah.
that is awesome. It is awesome. It is amazingly dirty. It is awesome. I found it one Saturday morning on iTunes way back in the day. Back when you would just buy songs. Remember that?
Yeah,
When you would just buy songs. Bought it. No longer available on iTunes. I don't know if you even had the rights to do it. Quite honestly, it's still like archived on my.
You got it.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Touchstone Movies, imprint owned by Disney, right?
Okay, yeah.
So they use that a lot of times when they wanted to make a movie that wasn't PG or G. And this movie was released under that umbrella because they thought it was too dark and too scary for kids. So it's a Touchstone film and not a Disney release, as you would normally see. And then in October 2020, so recently, they've re-released it out into theaters to try to get people to come back. And it was in 2,194 theaters in October, and it made $1.323 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic, 82 out of 100, so it's pretty good. And it earned $50 million in its initial run in the 90s, which is
That's
pretty good amount of money for
a
an
good chunk for
animated
the
movie.
90s, yeah.
That's not Disney,
Yeah.
quote unquote. 2001, Disney comes a knocking and they say, hey, Tim Burton, can we have another one of those? It was pretty good. And he said, no.
Like a sequel?
Yeah, they wanted a sequel.
No, screw that. We're not. No.
But they did get their way, sort of. In 2004, Capcom released a video game. It's called Oogie's Revenge.
Yeah.
And Tim Burton helped write the story for that video game. So they're maybe kind of considering that. And then in 2005, they put out something called The Pumpkin King, which was on Game Boy Advance, which I've never had in my life. I don't know what that means.
That sounds too fancy. That was expensive, probably.
And that was a prequel. That was a year before Nightmare Before Christmas in the storyline, in their IP.
Oh, okay.
So Oogie Boogie tries to kidnap Jack, and that doesn't work out so well. And then that leads into the movie, and then that a few years later is Oogie's Revenge, and that's all canon now in the world.
That's what they. That's
Oogie.
what the nerds say.
Yep,
Canon.
I dropped it for you. I figured you'd pick that up.
Totally.
So that's what I got for us on Nightmare Before Christmas.
I love that film. Love it. Now
We
here's the
watched it
thing.
quite a few times.
Is it a Halloween film
Or is it Christmas?
or is it a Christmas film?
I'll say it's more a Christmas film than Die Hard.
You would be wrong.
I knew I would get a
However-
reaction out of that.
I would say it's both.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I watch it more on near Christmas than I do Halloween.
Ironically, I watch it more near Halloween,
Than Christmas?
but I would watch it around Christmas.
I have a toddler who likes it, so I watch it year round.
I don't see a problem with this.
Yeah. Well, and he kind of has asked me in the movie. You go to that forest and there's all those different holidays on the trees.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's in the Easter one, Dad? I'm like, I don't know. Tim Burton never gave it to us. So
No.
we're not sure.
Maybe someday he would.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So maybe we'll have some other holiday installments. But
Well, what happens to, like, the rights of that when Tim Burton dies? I wonder. Because, if it gets in the wrong hands, we're going to get tons of different spin-offs.
I think eventually all that stuff gets to public domain, I would assume, after like 100 years or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at some point, yes.
So eventually
Yeah.
we'll see it.
Yeah.
All right, so I brought a bonus beer.
Okay.
As if we needed more beer than 1.32 gallons.
Well, I'm getting thirsty, so that works.
Okay. I only brought this bonus beer for one reason. So it's the Merry Christmas, Happy New Year 2020 from Anchor Brewing.
Let me grab a bottle opener. I got
You got one? You want to toss me one of those? Well, don't toss, obviously. But,
I'll open it for you.
well, yeah, thank
Open it and then toss it.
There you go. We have done Anchor Brewing beers before. One of the oldest breweries in the country.
Yes.
One of the oldest. So I bought this for one reason and one reason alone. It was right above the Christmas ale. So as I was perusing the beer aisle, looking for this Breckenridge specifically, right? We knew we were
Yes.
going to do this one. I saw this, and I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. But on the 6-pack, it says, "This is the 46th Christmas ale from Anchor Brewing, San Francisco." I am 46 years old.
Boom.
They have been making Christmas beers as long as I have been alive.
Wow.
That's in the world of craft, right? And Anchor has been around for a long. We've talked about them. They've been around for a long time. We have to try it. This is, I mean,
We definitely do.
right?
Now, already, without smelling it, I'm just looking at it. There's pine cones right on the label.
Oh, of course.
I'm already in.
Yes. Let's see what the label says.
Smells good.
This is our 46th annual. This ale, made with natural flavors, features a... Oh, this is hard to read. Oh, because the stupid pine cones get light. Features a different recipe and tree
Every year.
every year. A tree.
Yes.
Our special ale. They call it our special ale.
Yes.
Like a child. This is our special child. Our special ale.
It goes. The rest of it sounds like it, but the intent with this, with which we offer, it is the same joy and celebration of the newness of life.
Brian Peterson should love every bit of this beer. This, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's great.
This encapsulates almost every. This is Brian Peterson at Christmas right here.
I want to see what it looks like. I'm going to pour it into my glass.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Oh, yeah.
It's beer, Christmas, spiced
With some hops.
with hops, with like West Coast.
That is dark. Look at that.
It is, but it doesn't taste like that.
No,
though.
that's why I wanted to pour it into my glass.
It's weird that this was made in California.
You think so?
Yeah, because
Here's the thing: like you get the pininess of a West Coast
that's
IPA,
true.
right?
That's true. That's
But then
true.
you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, because look at it. When you
Yeah.
pour really hard, it cascades down like it would a stout,
Yeah, like a Guinness almost.
right? But then it does not taste like that. It tastes like some kind of like dark lager.
But just the taste of it kind of reminds me of like the pine trees of Colorado or
Yep.
Montana, or
Yeah.
I feel like I should be drinking it there in the mountains.
Well, in a few weeks, I'm going to be there, and I may take some of this.
There you
and
go.
Then I'll let you know how it goes.
There you go.
I'm going to guess it goes really, really well. I'm just guessing. I'm just
Almost
guessing.
like fruitcake. It's kind of bready. It's sweet. It's fruity, but it has some hops.
Make fun of fruitcake all you want. I love me some
Yeah.
fruitcake.
That's what I'm guessing. It would go well with this.
Yep.
Good fruitcake. There's some that's
There's
like
some bad. Yeah, true.
you get the hard.
Well, but
It's supposed to be gummy. I don't know.
Just like Jolly Ranchers chopped up in there. Break your teeth off.
that's like saying like summer sausage or whatever. There's some bad summer sausage out there.
That's true.
Then there's some really good summer sausage.
Yes.
So
I guess I like homemade fruitcakes more than I like. I don't know. I've had some store bought ones that are like really bad.
yeah, true.
My grandma always wanted one for Christmas every year. She always wanted a fruitcake. She was one of the only people I ever met that asked for fruitcake.
And then would she slice it up and like share it with people?
No, that was hers. Man.
Oh, she would just eat it.
Yep. She put it in the freezer when she was done. Keep it fresh and out on the farm. That was how she did it.
Kind of like my dad with the chocolate covered cherries. Remember, you get the box.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
Yeah. If you touch those, he would beat
was
you.
it.
Yes, beat you.
My grandpa
That's
too.
it.
Yeah, he had the chocolate cherries.
What is it with old guys that love those? My wife's grandpa loved those too.
Yeah,
They're not that
I don't know.
great. They're okay.
Yeah.
they're okay. And his other thing was orange slices.
Oh, I do
Those
li-
sugary
Yeah.
ones.
I do like the orange slices.
I loved them as a kid. I can't stand them now, but
We are in old man candy territory right now.
Remember the almond joy?
I mean,
I don't even know.
I
That's,
remember.
That's the oldest candy.
Do you
I could come up
remember
with.
those Christmas candies that were? It almost looked like taffy, and it had a Christmas tree in the middle.
Yes.
Remember those?
So I went to. I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
I went to CCD.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was on Wednesdays, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Yes,
Yep.
it was. And then during Christmas, like right before Christmas break, because you would have CCD once a week, right?
Uh-huh.
And then right before Christmas break, during Christmas break, you wouldn't have CCD, but they would give us like a bag of peanuts
Yep.
and those candies just like all
Yep.
mixed in together. So like the peanut shells and stuff were sticking to those candies and stuff
Yeah.
or whatever. It was the best.
I remember we would sing when I was a kid in the church choir. We'd have our big Christmas program, and you'd get a bag with an orange in it and some of that junk. drive home and go down to the farm and see my grandparents, and I'd be eating all the rest of that stuff all the way down. Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite Christmas treat that we got every year was the cookie with the little Christmas printed in the middle of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think I want to say, who's the Doughboy?
Pillsbury.
Pillsbury.
Yeah.
I think it was Pillsbury cookies. You get it in the little canister or whatever, unwrap it, and then you'd slice the cookie.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, it had the Christmas tree in the middle.
They probably still make those, Dolan.
Those are my favorite.
I believe they still make those.
Yeah.
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 Okay, Untapped. Let's start with Christmas Ale.
That's got to
Breckenridge.
have a huge number.
One check-in, Brian Peterson in 2019.
Last year.
Not going to tell you what you checked it in at.
I'm going to guess 375 because that's what I'd say now.
You wouldn't be right. But,
Oh.
okay. 74,000 other check-ins,
That's
though.
not that. I thought there'd be more.
It's a pretty big number. 74,000 check-ins. What do you say?
I'm going to go 3.6.
3.49.
3.55. Ooh, almost split the difference.
Yeah.
Almost. You know what? For what it is, and just the sheer availability
Yes.
coming out of your fridge, right? That's like we talked about off air before I started this. I bought the 1.32 gallon, the same size of their Oktoberfest, and drank it within 2 days. And my wife was like, "You might have a problem."
Like, I have to. It's on the thing.
It's delicious. I can't stop.
It says you have to drink it.
And I don't want to let it go bad. That's wasting.
That's right.
I will
Yeah.
gladly just drink the rest of this within 2 days.
Yeah.
So
That one, I would say out of the two of these, that one's more approachable for just everybody.
yeah.
way more.
This is more, I mean, this almost, now it's reminding me of black licorice somehow.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't have that anise taste, it reminds me of that. And I hate black licorice.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I like black licorice.
Look, I'm gonna finish it.
I'm going to drink
right
all of it.
So I mean, but yeah,
I mean, we could nerd out on this because these are famous trees. Those are
I would love to go through like the history of all the trees that they've gone
like that.
you know, or
and
whatever.
John Muir, they name check on here. He's like the father of the national parks in the United States. So without him, we don't have Rocky Mountain National Park or
Yep.
sequoias and what's the with Half Dome out there. I've always wanted to go there. It's in Yosemite.
Yep.
I've always wanted to go to Yosemite. So yeah,
right.
there's a whole Ken Burns documentary features Mr. John Muir. Check it out.
We've got a lot. We could do another Anchor beer at some point and just do those because I think this label looks very familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love the feel of this bottle. Nobody else has a bottle like this.
It is it's almost like a cross between like the old Michelob bottle and like
Exactly.
yeah, like a stubby bottle from Coors.
Yeah.
It's an interesting shape.
It just fits in the hand just so nice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look up the Anchor Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, our special ale.
I wonder how many of these I've checked in because they have different years. Really? None?
None.
Not for this year.
Not for this. No.
Yeah.
This is this year's, yes. But that's interesting, yeah, because they have every year. This would be this year's. 8,000 check-ins on this one so far. So
I'm going to say this one's a 3.88.
You know what? 3.6 again.
God, don't so close. 361.
That's close.
Man,
Dang.
so close. Yeah, I think 375 all day long. I get you're right. I get a little black licorice here, which is totally fine with me. I enjoy a black
That is-
licorice, and
This one's so good, I'm going to take a picture of it for my check-in here.
so there you go. All right, next week, one more Christmas beer, courtesy of Brian Peterson. We go to a state that we've never been before, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
Check it out.
in a style that I'm not super excited about.
Please say there's bourbon in it.
There is.
There is,
Well,
don't worry.
It's Kentucky,
Yeah.
so of course
It has to be.
is.
Bourbon comes out of the water taps there.
I think you're right.
I think so, too.
All right, well, we're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another Christmas beer.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.